Far Cry New Dawn released 6 years ago and was labelled the worst game in the franchise. But was it really that bad, or is it actually worth playing? Years after the nuclear chaos of Far Cry 5, the survivors have been trying to rebuild their lives, but then in come the Highwaymen. Crooks with a name taken straight from the old bathroom stall. So it's time for us to smash teeth into some knees. We survive an ambush whilst on the train, but almost get left behind by this bellend. So I deliver a swift left hand.
Find the armor. Oh my god, I'm bleeding.
I put the game's stealth mechanics to the test and take down a bunch of blokes who are in dire need of laser removal. And this game has some neat looking takedown animations. Enemy NPCs also act somewhat intelligent to a burning bottle of beer lobbed at their dome, which I do appreciate. In terms of gunplay, just using the pistol so far feels pretty satisfying, and some enemies won't completely die, and sort of roll about like a football player who just had someone blow air onto their ankles with pure bad breath. This mechanic reminds me of the utter bums who used to have the second chance perk on Black Ops 1 back in the day. But a Far Cry game is only as good as its villain, and here we meet the twins, and how menacing are they? Well, despite looking like CEX employees, they don't hold back brutally murdering our friend. Luckily, Rush saves us by pushing us off the cliff, and after a little kip, we meet Carmina from Far Cry 5, all grown up. And so far, I'm kinda surprised this game got such bad reviews. Gameplay and visuals have been solid so far, but let's not speak too soon. As the lady chats utter bollocks, I amuse myself by making these ugly ass rats take a tumble. And a little tip, to avoid falling victim to a cheap jump scare, this is how you can check if this poor arsehole has met their demise. In this Far Cry game, they have put more focus on crafting your weapons instead of just buying them. I especially appreciate the realism and attention to detail as I craft a saw launcher with just 40 rolls of duct tape and a bunch of random components. Christ, this bin definitely excelled in drama school. Let's now put the contraption to good use. And as you can see, it's pretty OP, and it goes to show that you should never underestimate what 40 reels of duct tape can produce. But come on, couldn't they have added a better animation when reviving your companion? At the moment, it just looks like you're helping them up from a bit of a siesta. At least show an animation injecting them with the good stuff, or putting a plaster on them for the Lord of Christ. But just how good is the companion mechanic in this game? Well, I hate to say it, but like in most games, you're better off battering bellend solo, as your buddy is about as useful as a cock-flavoured lollipop. Regardless, we finally make our way to our camp, which plays quite a big part in this game, as you'll see in a moment. This Prestige 10 Goblin level of eye contact is something anyone on the autistic spectrum would dream of, including myself. Now we can actually customize our character, which is a great feature, but why do so many first-person games even have this? Like, seriously, let's put a ton of customization into a first-person game when you can only see your character for about 10% of the game. Makes a load of sense, to be fair. I'm going for the Jake Paul forehead and fedora-wearing Redditor hybrid. The added task should really warrant a hard drive check, but in a post-apocalyptic world, Chris Hansen isn't a thing, thank piss.
Dangerous. But then nobody should get to play with them.
Talking to a kid eating a demented cookie injected with helium probably wasn't the best idea after that last line.
Why don't you take a seat right over there?
Now it's time to save Rush from the dreaded Highwaymen. There is a surprising amount of vehicles in this game, which is a nice surprise, but also a mystery, as I'm pretty sure car manufacturers aren't exactly excelling. I ended up going for the shoddy bike and sidecar from Wallace and Gromit to see how it handles, and to be honest, it's not bad. It just kinda sucks how your buddy can't drive you to the waypoint, extending the list of how god to hell useless they are. although it's cool that you can make them attack enemies on your command, like a dog under the complete control of its master. And there's our pal Rush, but he seems to be handling everything on his own. Well, this feels like a waste of petrol coming to save him. So the typical escape mission commences where he drives and we gotta defend. And it's going alright until Rush decides to have a badly timed heart attack, making us fail the mission. Now cheers, replaying the mission again isn't painfully repetitive, to be fair. After returning him back to the safe camp, this is where the game tells you to piss off and go upgrade the facilities. But this isn't a problem, as I ended up doing several side quests to see what they were like. So in this one, some complete and utter nerd tells us to fetch his Dragon's Den business pitch from an enemy base.
Now my business plan is missing too.
I'm pretty sure Theo the fetus will already be dead in his post-apocalyptic world, but flip it. Things do take a turn though, as we end up following some bloke running in just his cats. The fact there is no skid marks is impressive, but also unrealistic on Ubisoft's part, and it ends with bullets through some heads. Although we were successful, it does annoy me how this nerd is wearing sunglasses in the pitch black darkness, like he's some higher being, when in actual fact he looks like a complete and utter knobhead. To be honest, I actually enjoyed playing these side missions for the most part.
Name's Grace, and if I wasn't blind as fuck, I'd be fighting right beside you.
And using the sniper rifle was pretty satisfying. Gun mechanics feel refined and responsive, but things got even more interesting when I picked up this saw launcher. This one feels even more OP than the last, and even enemies with shields are getting absolutely murked. The varied beat really adds to the experience. I also like how when exploring the open world, you'll encounter random events like enemies holding some poor bell-end prisoner. It can distract you super easily from what you were doing, but I kinda like that. It makes the experience more unpredictable. As you liberate outposts and complete side missions, eventually you'll earn enough ethanol to upgrade your camp, which allows you to do some pretty interesting things. For example, expedition missions where this matey boy picks you up in his helicopter, drops you off in some heavily guarded base, and tells you to retrieve a package whilst pissing off like a right pussy. I like these types of missions as I'm a sucker for stealth, but the heat gets seriously turned on once you do collect the item, as all enemies are alerted and know your location, like they put some dodgy Apple Air tag in the package. Then it becomes a bit of a free-for-all as you wait for matey boy to pick you up in the helicopter. Take your time, for Christ's sake, what in the hell is he doing? Going for a quick Mackies? It does make things quite intense though, which isn't a bad thing, and I did actually quite enjoy these little missions. As you upgrade the camp, you'll be able to craft better weapons, unlock more vehicles, along with various other things. I like this as it gives you a decent reward for doing side quests in this game, instead of it just being purely story focused. Although I can see certain missions becoming repetitive, but the gameplay does a pretty good job to help prevent that. So is Far Cry New Dawn actually worth playing? Now I'm not a die-hard Far Cry fan, so I can't really compare it to the others, but after about 5 hours in, and despite bad reviews, I'm honestly surprised. The visuals are impressive, gunplay and stealth are solid, and I really enjoyed exploring the open world and causing chaos with various weapons. The story isn't exactly groundbreaking and the villains aren't that memorable, but the gameplay is good enough to get you hooked. Is it worth playing? Well, considering it's free on the Game Pass right now, 100% yes. And if it's no longer on there at the time of watching this video, don't waste your money and get it super cheap on Instant Gaming using the link down below. So why did this game get so much hate? Let me know in the comment section down below, and which Far Cry game would you say is the best one, as I might have to try it out. I've only ever played the third game. And to find out whether Star Wars Outlaws still sucks or not, make sure to click the card on screen. You don't want to miss this video. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.